Good afternoon and welcome to the show. Today, I have with me Eric Duda. He is a very professional and proficient Toastmaster. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nigel. A pleasure to be here.
So Eric, some of our viewers are asking, at Toastmasters, do you simply present speeches or is there more to it than just that?
Well, yes, Nigel, there's a heck of a lot more to it than just presenting speeches. Leadership really is the key to Toastmasters, and in fact, the presentation of speeches is really just a part of leadership. We're studying leadership and learning about it all the time, and leadership is not just being the top dog within an organisation, but it's also leading from the middle or the bottom of the organisation. Everyone in an organisation can be a leader. For example, I'm in quite a few organisations locally, but I deliberately keep off the committees whenever possible because I'd rather contribute by leading by example in speaking, listening, writing, reading.
That sounds very informative. So, what awards can you get in Toastmasters? And what awards are more related to leadership than other awards?
Right. Well, interestingly enough, I didn't quite finish what I was saying, but I just forgot what I was going to say. So I'll finish that first, then I'll answer your next question. Now, you see, right, as well as writing, reading, etc., and in particular taking positive actions to help the organisation to achieve what it's setting out to do. And leadership in Toastmasters relates firstly, this is getting on to your next question, Nigel,
yes,
to the Competent Leader Manual. This is a manual with many interesting activities.
Wow. So,
can you repeat the second question? I've forgotten. I don't know whether I've answered it fully.
So, is this the only award that you can get through leadership in Toastmasters? Or are there more awards that you can get in leadership?
My goodness, no, there's a lot more to it, Nigel. For example, after you've done the Competent Leadership Award, you can go for Advanced Leader Bronze, which has quite a range of activities in it too. Advanced Leader Silver, which also includes some high-performance leadership projects, which are sort of fairly major projects in their own right. And then there's all sorts of leadership opportunities within the club, for example, at area level, district level, and internationally. And then the ultimate, of course, perhaps in leadership and in speaking, is to acquire the Distinguished Toastmaster Award.
Wow.
And that is the top level of leadership and speaking, which go hand in hand. And of course, all that you do in Toastmasters relates to the real world of family, friends, work, community, church, education, and in fact, life.
That's incredible. So, are there many people that have achieved that Distinguished Toastmaster title? That sounds really amazing to stand in that place.
Right. I can't really answer that fully, Nigel, except to say that in my time in Toastmasters, I know that we have one Distinguished Toastmaster in our club. So yes, that's a club of approximately 20 people, give or take a few. And I suspect she may be the only Distinguished Toastmaster that's been in our club in the 40-year history of it. Over at Rotorua, I know when I attend various area meetings and so on, there's probably about 2 or 3 or 4 Distinguished Toastmasters there. So I'm kind of guessing that maybe in New Zealand at present, there's probably perhaps only about 30 or 40 Distinguished Toastmasters. But I'm really only guessing.
That makes it a very large title and a large achievement for anyone to undertake.
Indeed.
So I've had a look at this Competent Leadership Manual. Now, it looks all a bit daunting. One project that took my eye was Project 6. There were 6 very, what seemed large activities to organise, take part in, and otherwise carry out yourself. Does everyone have to complete a special event and a competition and all those other things in that list? It seems so much to do.
Oh, well, yes, of course, Nigel. Yes, our intention at Toastmasters is to scare people off.
Oh, really?
No, not at all. Yes, it does seem a little daunting when you look at it at face value. But you see, I've just turned to Project 6, which is all about organising and delegating, which of course is very, very important in leadership. And if you actually look at that project closely, there are 6 activities which one can take part in. You've already mentioned a couple of them. And a Toastmaster only has to choose one of those to complete that project. Now, it is quite an extensive project that they have to undertake. For example, one that you didn't mention would be to organise a club public relations campaign. Now, that would be expected to be something that would involve several weeks of fairly concerted effort, and it would involve organising other people to help and delegating responsibility to various other people within the club and maybe even outside the club. For example, you may relate to people in local radio stations and other news media. So yes, it is a lot of work, but it's also a lot of very good learning. And information is provided both within the manual, on the Toastmasters website, by fellow club members, and in particular, everybody in Toastmasters has a mentor who can help them learn all sorts of new things, and everything that they do in Toastmasters is also evaluated, so they get feedback on what they're doing.
Right. And so this manual and the series of steps you take to get that distinguished Toastmasters status, I understand, is actually changing next year at some point. I read something about Toastmasters Pathways. Do you know anything about this program?
At the moment, Nigel, I don't know a lot about it. I tend to be a little bit of a stick in the mud, and I always like the old ways.
Yes.
And the old ways in Toastmasters, as indeed in education and in many things in society, was to have everyone moving more or less along the same path and along the same steps. So, for example, in Toastmasters, everyone did the Competent Communicator Manual, everyone did the Competent Leadership Manual, and then once they had that base, beyond that, pathways for their individual development could be chosen a little differently. I believe that the new pathways system takes new Toastmasters and devises a pathway that is of maximum benefit for them in their learning about leadership skills and speaking skills right from the start, rather than the lockstep system that we currently have at the beginning.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Eric. I see that we've gone over time, but it's been so fascinating to find out exactly what Toastmasters do in this place, in this world. It's so important to get those leadership skills, to get those public speaking skills. The two of them go hand in hand, and that's where Toastmasters plays an important role in society, as we have heard today here from my good friend Eric. So thank you for tuning in, and we wish you a happy evening.
Thank you, Nigel, and I would encourage you to join Toastmasters. You could become you've been in Toastmasters several years, of course. That's how I know you. Thank you, Nigel.
Thank you, Eric. And then we